Today we'll be making a vegan-friendly pink mole. The original recipe is from Guerrero, Mexico, and it contains a variation of nuts, fruits, and vegetables, which gives it a very complex and delicious flavor profile. I'll be making a few modifications to the traditional recipes I've seen, and of course I'll exclude any animal-based products. Let's get started. First, we're going to make a broth that resembles a chicken soup. We'll get started with onions, garlic, nutritional yeast, and mushroom seasoning. All the ingredients and measurements will be in the description below. At this point, we'll add a little bit of oregano as well as black pepper. The mushroom seasoning I used already contains a little bit of salt. Taste it for yourself and see if it needs any more. We can always modify as needed. Next, we'll add some extra firm tofu that has been frozen, thawed, and any excess water has been removed. This gives it a more meaty texture. We're going to simmer this for about 25 minutes. Keep the lid on and shut it off after those 25 minutes. We'll set it aside and continue on. For this next step, we're going to toast some sesame seeds on a dry pan. We want to get to the point that we start to see a golden brown color. It's okay if you still have a few white seeds here and there. The biggest thing to take into consideration is not to burn them. As you progress with the seeds and the nuts, you'll see that they'll start to get a bit more shiny as they release a little bit of oil. Here's an example. It's a little hard to make out, but they are a little bit more golden brown than when they originally started. Next, we'll turn up the heat a little bit and work with the pine nuts. Same idea though, we just want to toast them ever so slightly. And it's okay if you get a little bit more of a char with these as long as they're not burning. Here we have some almonds that have been cut up a little bit, so it makes it a little easier and faster to toast them. Rinse and repeat. Make sure they start to get a bit golden brown. Pour them into the large bowl with everything else. And finally, we have the cashews. They are a bit larger, so they'll take a little bit more time to toast, but the same idea is there. We want to get that golden brown color. Once ready, add them to the same bowl as the seeds and the other nuts. We're going to actually be adding all the ingredients into that bowl. A lot of the base flavor and the creaminess will actually come from the nuts, so a very important and essential ingredient in this recipe. Here we have some cinnamon, bay leaves, and clove. We're just going to toast them for a little bit. You want to make sure not to burn them. The bay leaves will go out first, and then everything else. Now we're going to set our pan to medium-high and add some refined coconut oil. Usually this recipe would include lard. We're going to saute some red onions and garlic, as well as a chile güero, or spicy yellow pepper. Here's where you can play around with the spice level. Add more depending on how spicy you want it. We're just going to saute these ingredients until they start to soften. We don't really want to char. Next, we'll add a little bit more of the coconut oil. And to the pan, you'll add a chipotle and some bread. This could be a loaf of bread, half a bolillo, whatever you may have on hand. Additionally, we'll add a corn tortilla. Once you start to see the bread toasting a little bit, take it out. You'll do the same with the tortilla. You just want it to get a little bit toasted on the outside. It'll stiffen a little bit. The chipotle will give the sauce a smoky flavor. The tortilla and the bread help thicken the consistency of the mole. Next, we're going to add all those ingredients we toasted and fried to a blender. It helps to have a high-powered blender. It makes the mole sauce a bit smoother. Next comes the color. We're going to add some boiled beets, rose petals, and cranberries. Here I have about 3 cups of broth. We'll slowly add it as we start to blend. Throughout this process, I ended up doing 1 small beet, and I did forget to add applesauce and agave. This was a substitute for a fried banana. As I was blending and tasting, I did add a few ingredients, but as mentioned, everything will be included in the description below. Make sure to blend until you start to get a velvety, smooth consistency. Once we're done blending the sauce, we're going to add it to a pot so we can start to boil it. This is also a good time to check on your consistency and salt as well. I made it a bit more runny because as you boil, it does thicken. And do note, as you add heat, it'll start to darken as well. Here I just added a little bit of salt and mushroom seasoning. Mix it well and do a final taste. Let it boil and set it aside. Next, set a pan to medium-high heat. Add some oil. We're going to finish cooking the tofu that has been marinating in the broth. Add whatever seasoning you want. Keep it a bit neutral. I ended up just doing mushroom seasoning, nutritional yeast, and a little bit of garlic. You want to sear both sides so you can start to get some crispy edges. That'll solidify the flavor of the garlic, mushroom seasoning, and the nutritional yeast. You can continue to cook it in the cast iron or put them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 10-15 minutes. Just make sure you're checking on them so they don't burn. Finally, I served it with some rice. I used the beetroot leaf as a bed, added the tofu, the sauce, pomegranate seeds, as well as sesame seeds. And finally, some edible rose petals. This recipe can be very time-consuming, but I think it's worth it. It's very delicious and unique, and I would definitely make it again. Thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. Enjoy.